Coming up, we discuss our preseason takeaways so far. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando and his lovely dog, Milo. What's up, Gab? And Mr. Maui Yap. Nakamute
What's
ka,
up? What's
Gab, ha?
up?
Yan.
Sorry, there is a lot. There's a
Maulan.
thunderstorm,
Maulan
and
ngayon.
my dog is really, really scared. So he's on my lap for now.
Okay. Well, for today's episode, we are going to talk about our early preseason takeaway so far. We've seen a couple of games from Pinoyliga Cup. So we've seen a couple of UAAP teams already. So could be an overreaction or just a key takeaway na you've seen sa preseason game so far. Why don't we start with you, Sultan of Sando and Milo?
Okay, forgive Milo, but my first preseason takeaway is probably gonna surprise a ton of. Some may even say it's an overreaction, but Ian Espinosa has been Ateneo's best player. I know that a lot of the shine and the press and the attention is going to guys like Kimani Ladi, Divine Adili. Those guys have been grabbing the highlights. A lot of people are hyped, but people are not paying attention to how good Ian Espinosa has been for Ateneo. He's been better than Jared Bahay. In all honesty, he's been way better than Jared Bahay so far in the preseason. He just looks more controlled. He looks more decisive. Um, he looks more confident with his shot. His shot is going in. Um, it's like it's all coming together for Ian Espinosa. He's become a guy who you want you want to bench from a guy who's a good backup point guard to a guy now who's I think is a starter level point guard in the UAAP. He's been
Ganda nung
that
ano, no?
good.
Nung
Yeah, that arc.
transition niya to
Honestly,
level up.
season 86, I was questioning a bit to start the season why Coach Tab was choosing to play a lot of Ian Espinosa. Remember that? I was clamoring for Gab Gomez to get his minutes. Diba, I don't know. Nung una, I didn't know what Coach Tab saw in Ian Espinosa. Now, I really see what he really saw in Ian Espinosa. A guy, we all know that his defense is what Coach Tab valued in the past seasons. But now his offense is really coming together. He's not anymore dribbling the air out of the ball. He's now making plays decisively on the court, finding corner shooters, finding role guys, getting to his mid range, hitting 3-point shots. He's the top assist man in Asiabasket. I think that says it all. Um, he's now playing alongside Jared Bahay in crunch time. This is a trend now. It was not just a one game thing. It's now a trend in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Coach Tab goes with him and Bahay together. We were not seeing this in season 87. I think that just goes to show the amount of confidence and the amount of improvement that Ian Espinosa has shown in the preseason. I think he's bound to have I wouldn't say a big season 88. I mean, he is in a timeshare right now with Jared Bahay, but as a guy you could see being so important to their team, it's Ian Espinosa. You see the difference when he's on the court versus when he's off it. He pushes the pace. He gets his guys to the spots where they want to shoot, where they can score. He's just been really, really good. He's been their best player. I know si Kimani Ladi is scoring a lot. Divine Adili is getting double-doubles. But the engine that runs this Ateneo offense is Ian Espinosa. And to a lesser extent, si Jared Bahay for now. But Ian Espinosa, I've been so impressed. I love the way he's played. I can't believe I'm saying that. But it's true. People have to take notice. He's been playing really well. This is the reason why I still say that Coach Tab is the best coach in the UAP. Just look at how this guy has developed right under him. He This was not the Ian Espinosa from 2 seasons ago.
2 years in the making. 2 seasons
Diba?
in the making.
This is I'm so shocked. I'm shocked with how well he's playing, with how his skills have just developed. And even when he's really small, he finds ways to be effective. He finds ways not to be taken advantage of on the defensive end. Ako, I've just been so impressed. I love what I see from Ian Espinosa. Other teams, I said this, I think, in our Ateneo Salle recap, Maui, of that thriller game in Asiabasket. I think other UAP schools would love to have Ian Espinosa as their starting point guard right now. He looks so good. So good. And take my apology, please, Ian. I know I've criticized you in the past, but but you have been really
we all did.
We all did. I think a lot of Ateneo fans did, but
a lot of
madami kailangan mag-apologize. Let's see if he brings it to the UAAP.
Maui, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think magandang early pick si Ian Espinosa, but I would say that not just Ian Espinosa. I think the development ng Ateneo ng guards and wings this off-season is really showing. But last season, we got a glimpse of Tuano breaking out for Ateneo, di ba? Kasi he had to play minutes, a lot of minutes when Chris Kuhn got injured. Nieto suddenly got ruled out for the season. And this offseason, two players have really stood out. Diba? I think if you're saying that si Espinosa is the engine of Ateneo so far, I would argue that Kyle Gamber has been the best shooter in Asiabasket so far. Diba? And the numbers speak for themselves. I think he's shooting north of 60%. I think that's not something we can expect every day. But now teams are starting to really cover him. Diba? Teams are starting to respect what he can do. I think all the off-season hard work, all of the bulking up, I think is finally catching up. Diba? The hype is finally real for Kyle Gamber also. But maybe to a lesser extent for Kyle Gamber. But si Espinosa has been a pleasant surprise for Ateneo. And it's one of the reasons why we reacted that way when Ateneo just announced that they're recruiting a one-and-done point guard. I think that they have that point guard slot covered for next season, diba? And there are a ton of guards who have stood out. Even si Andrade, you could say. Diba? We haven't even seen a ton of Asoro this off season. Let's see where it goes. Hopefully si Espinosa can bring this.
I think you meant Ebdane, Maui. I was thinking may Andrade.
Ebdane.
Asoro ba o
Ebdane?
Yeah.
No, Ebdane and Asoro, both of them. Diba? Si Asoro, we haven't seen. Si Ebdane, sorry. I was watching some highlights of the PBA. Nakita ko si Andrade scored the
BJ.
Yeah, I think yesterday. So I got confused. But 30 Ebdane has been a good surprise for me. Also, I'm looking. I would be surprised if he wasn't being considered to be part of the lineup for next season, just because he can play multiple positions, hits the outside shot, and is also very confident. But yeah, marami nag-message sa akin about Ian Espinosa na maybe it's time to start writing that apology letter. Diba? So I'm hoping that he brings it to the UAAP, diba? Kasi say what you want. The off season is still a different beast from the UAAP season. Diba? We've seen a lot of players thrive in the off season and cave when the season starts. I would say that si Espinosa has that angas that I think chances are he will show out still in the UAAP season. But I'm happy. Diba? Kasi when we see players develop, diba, we always talk about recruitment. Diba? On our show, we always talk about, I think the other podcasts also talk about recruitment. But when we see development from these players, I think that's just special. Diba? When we saw KQ developing, when we saw Mike Phillips developing, JD Kagulangan coming out of his shell, I think it's different. Diba? When you see a player develop, that speaks volumes on how a program is and how replicable being dominant is in the UAAP. So these are welcome sites for Ateneo, players showing their development.
And I think yung maganda doon is Ian Espinosa was bad when he started. Let's just say that. Like, yun nga, we didn't want him to play.
He was
He
an
was,
eyesore.
diba? It was hard to watch him play. It wasn't like si Kyle Gamber, for example. If you compare those two guys, and I think you're right, Maui, na those two guys are the most surprising development so far this offseason. Kyle Gamber, we just didn't see enough of him to sort of say na he's not good enough or like he was bad. But now he looks really good. Ganda ng development and crucial yung three-point shooting that he will contribute to Ateneo and yung confidence that he brings on. But like Ian Espinosa, a lot of people really were frustrated with him. Yun na lang sabihin natin.
Kung may hittest player in Ateneo,
Diba?
from the alumni, I would say Ian Espinosa was in contention.
Well, si Balogun has something to say about that. But Ian Espinosa was one of that, 'di ba? So seeing him develop and being like this really confident player that you just have to have on your team, and Coach Tab is forced to play on his team, forced to play two guards on his team just because of how good he is. Yun yung maganda, ang saya tingnan. Ang saya tingnan. Yung sabi mo nga, Maui, yung development from that. Coming from like, people hated him to like, now, Gab is calling him the best player of Ateneo in the preseason. In the preseason so far. And maybe Gab has a point. Comment down below if you do agree na he's the best player of Ateneo in the preseason so far. So, let's move on. Gusto mong, you wanna come in next, Maui?
Okay, sige, ikaw muna.
Okay, sige. Ako, Adamson, well, hindi naman to, overstatement, but like, Adamson is going to surprise us again this season. Yun yung parang key takeaway ko.
Baliktad na. Baliktad ni Sam, Gab.
Baliktad na ako. I'm not going
Talk
to
about
underestimate
development,
Adamson.
character development.
parang Ian Espinosa lang, Gab. May character development din ako. So, I'm not going to underestimate Adamson this coming season because I've been very impressed with them this preseason. With the entire team. First of all, sa Pinoyliga, clawing back in that UP game and getting that win against UP. I know UP's team was split into two, so it's not like the full force best UP team, but it was also not the full force Adamson team, diba? So I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have favored UP winning that game. Ray Remogat almost got a couple of chances to win that game, but eventually Adamson won. The other game, I think sa Asiabasket, they lost to Ateneo, but akala ko tapos na eh. They were down like 21 or something, and then mamaya, no timeouts, pinabayaan lang ni Coach Nash Racela yung Adamson kahit down 21-0 run, and then mamaya 12-point lead, 11-point lead na lang yung Ateneo, just like that. Adamson finds a way to claw back in games and fight and compete against some of the top teams, and I think it's hard to underestimate them. You still have most of its core, that's why Adamson is still very solid, but maybe two guys that have surprised me if I were to point out two guys. Maybe in terms of like the stars, I think Royce Mantua is going to be a star this coming season. He can do a little bit of everything. If you saw the UP game, he shot like 3 out of 5 from 3 points. One of the things that we always talk about is always missing from Adamson. It's the 3-point shooting, yung consistency nila from 3, because they do take a lot of threes. So I think yung length and versatility ni Royce Mantua, he can shoot the 3, he can drive to the basket, he can play make a little, he has that mid-range game, one-on-one mid-range game. I think he
was giving it to Jacob Baila in that game.
And I was gonna say that. Yun yung next point ko. And he was giving it to Jacob Baila. He was showing Jacob Baila up dun sa game na yon. I think medyo ano lang sila, hindi naman altercation, nagkainisan lang ng onte. But he was dominating Jacob Baila, let's just say that. And Jacob Baila is like a lengthy defender. Very good defender. So, the fact na Royce Mantu was scoring against a top defender like Baila, I think he's going to be a star for Adamson this coming season. And I don't think preseason lang to kasi he showed that already last season. Siguro not as consistent but he had games na he dominated. And I think he's going to be an even more consistent contributor for Adamson this season. And gusto ko din na medyo mayabang to si Royce Mantua Medyo angas din.
Dominated is a strong word, Sam. Maybe showed a little bit of talent. I don't think any
had an impact.
Had an impact. Tama.
Strong word of dominated.
Dominate. Hindi naman dominate. Hindi naman siya Francis Lopez levels. Tama ka, Gab. I stand corrected. The other guy, kung yun yung star, siguro the other guy that surprised me, Austin Ronzone. We joked about it last season kasi grabe yung hype when he got recruited and he barely played last season.
Si Maui kasi yung ayaw tigilan yung mga Ronzone Tuloy. Ayan, nagpapakita.
He's been solid sa preseason so far. Pesky defender, can shoot the three, the corner three consistently. I think that's going to be his niche. Maui, I think we were talking about that offline. If he can just stick to those things and just be this pesky defender, I think he will get. Coach Nash Rosella has to give him minutes this coming season. I think he has to. I think baka last season na rin ni Austin Ronzone to. I'm not sure. So, I think he deserves to get some minutes this coming season because he has surprised me so far this preseason. Gab, Adamson Whisperer, anong ang masasabi mo sa take na yun?
Yeah, ako, I wouldn't say more of, I see the value of Austin Ronzone. A guy who you want on maybe the best pyramid, the ball handler in an opposing team, someone who can apply pressure, someone who possibly does not need the ball in his hands and is possibly a connector. As you said, Sammy, he likes those corner threes. Again, that's his role. A ton of minutes opened up with the loss of Joshua Hierro and Jan Calisay. So there are minutes opening up and maybe he can take some. The other guy who has looked really good at times, I wouldn't say been consistently good, is Kobe De Mesana. I had a mini revenge game against the Ateneo Blue Eagles yesterday. Was giving Kyle Ong the business, those fadeaways with those bank shots. Sabi niya, binagsak niyo ako
They were probably facing each other during practices.
Yep, they were probably facing each other during practice. So yeah, he was giving it to Kyle Ong. And Kyle Ong got a few baskets also on him. So that was a bit fun to watch. Similarly built guys, trying to one-up each other. But yeah, I do expect Kobe De Mesana to be in the rotation. I think he has the one-up right now with versus guys like Jairet, Tumaneng, and Allen Perez, who have not been playing yet with Adamson. But I think Kobe has a chance to make it to the rotation behind guys like Manzano and Ojarikre if ever he's going to be the FSA. And a low-key thing that's going to help Kobe De Mesana is, I don't know if you guys know this, they lost Alan Ignacio early in Asiabasket. I think he suffered a really devastating knee injury. So he was playing, I think, one of the power forward slots. So minutes opened
kaya
up.
Kaya pala hindi ko na siya nakikita. Okay,
yeah, he suffered an injury in that double overtime game against NU in Asiabasket.
Okay.
It looked really bad. It looked like an ACL tear. I'm not sure if there's any confirmation on that. But yeah, it looked that way. So again, another guy who was playing front court minutes is not going to be there anymore. So that helps a guy like Kobe De Mesana. I like his game. I do. Again, he gets a bit bullied inside. Doesn't have that strength to match up with taller centers, but a guy who can hit the mid-range, has good touch around the rim, can block shots, is an okay defender in space. So I'm rooting for him. The other guy who has really impressed me, Adamson. Yes, I noticed you're on zone, but si Renzo Competente has flashed some things that I didn't see in FEU. In FEU is mostly a spot-up shooter. Now in Adamson, you can see a little bit of playmaking, using the pick and roll to get to his mid-range, to swing the ball, things that I wasn't seeing when he was in FEU. So I do think he has the upper hand on making it to this roster. Again, they lost a shooter in Jan Calisay. They lost another supposed shooter in Joshua Hierro. There are perimeter minutes opening up. Ba't kayo natawa sa supposed shooter?
Bakit supposed shooter?
Hindi, kasi siya yung shooter, pero he misses a ton of threes, and he can't shoot from the free throw line. So, supposed shooter, as I would like to call him. But yun, so perimeter minutes are opening up. He has a ton of competition for minutes, I would say so. But I like what I see from Renzo. I do hope he makes the roster. Adamson does need some upside, and he's someone who can provide some upside. Again, you like to see development, and I've seen some development. I hope it continues.
Maui.
Yeah, I think sa Adamson, it's really all about diba? Finding that guy who can take them to the next level, diba? Aside from the people you named, who will potentially be rotational players. I'm just looking at the stats that Asiabasket posted, and I even messaged Asiabasket to ask kailan ba yung semis at finals natin. Maybe we can say in the show, but it's to be announced right now. Other than that, I would just like to say si Franzman has done a pretty good job. Diba? He's in the top 5 in points per game. I think he's averaging 17 points a game. That's unheard of for Adamson. Diba? Maybe si Lastimosa is the only guy that we could mention as a guy who averaged more than 10 points the past few seasons. Diba? Kasi if Adamson is known for something,
I put him on my list, Maui. That's why I put him on my top power forwards.
Tingnan naman yung list mo. Wag naman sana lumipat. Si Sabi, No, but kidding aside, if Franzman takes that next step, then maybe Adamson can also take that next step, diba? For next season. I think that's what they're lacking. That's what they've been lacking since Jerome Lastimosa went down with an ACL injury. Diba? A go-to guy, somebody who can give you consistently maybe 13 to 17 points. Diba? Kasi if there's one, I was about to mention, if there's one thing that's Adamson is famous for, it's a team that's not it's a team that's not had a double-digit scorer. Diba? I think even Cedric Manzano averaged 9 point something points during the previous season. So I think that's something that they need for next season. And maybe some last thoughts. Si Mantua, I think, is somebody to watch out for. Somebody who I also mentioned in the previous offseason. I think he can also be somebody who could surprise for next season, diba? For Adamson. So, yeah, things are starting to heat up. Diba? Let's see who's gonna be the champion for Asiabasket. I think in semis, 3 UAAP teams are in contention to be the champion. For my pick of surprising, for my pick of initial thoughts about the offseason, I was supposed to say Ateneo. Diba? Kasi I wanted to give si Ian Espinosa, si Adili, and Ladi. And I was also thinking, grabe yung hype. I don't know if it's overblown kasi parang grabe yung narinig ko in alumni groups, from friends, even my dad. They're all saying that Ateneo is back. So that's a wait and see for me until Phil Oil. But all I can say is they're performing a lot better than they did during the previous season. So that's a welcome sight. Diba? I think
Maui, they've won a game against a UAAP team.
Wala sila napanalunan last season.
Diba? So malaki, it's a big difference from last season. But I have to say my biggest surprise, and I think we've said this on the podcast multiple times, it's been mentioned, this issue, this good problem, in my opinion, by NU, we have to say Omar John. Diba? He's been outstanding so far
Yeah!
in all, I think, all of
Yes!
the tournaments
Let's go,
so
Omar
far,
John.
diba?
Someone send
I
this to
hope,
Omar John so he doesn't hate us
uh,
anymore.
yeah, I hope si Omar John hears and sees this. I think he's been balling. And I think it's gonna be a recurring storyline, a recurring problem, which is a good one, I think, for NU. Who from their three prospects will be the FSA come season 88? Diba? I think they have a problem. They have a very good problem kasi we've been saying this on the show. Having a decent FSA is a must. And I think other teams are still struggling to, even Ateneo is not assured of Divine Adili, diba? So other teams are still looking for their FSA. NU has three good choices. Diba? Either they go for the future with the Kowe, they go for win now with Omar John, or maybe si Deasana, I don't know. But all I can say is si Omar John has looked pretty good this off-season. I think him deciding to bulk up has really been good for him. He hasn't lost a step, but he looks stronger. He grabs rebounds more. I think he also scores on the inside more right now. So I think that's a welcome sight for NU. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are saying that NU is a dark horse contender for season 88.
I'm not surprised that they're a dark horse contender, but as what you said, Maui, I am surprised with how Omar John is playing. I think he has been a very pleasant surprise in this offseason. He has been not just balling, he's been dominating at times during games. He's manhandling people inside the paint. He's grabbing rebounds. He's protecting the paint. He looks really good. He looks like a man on a mission to regain his crown. Well, whatever crown that was, to regain his spot na lang, to regain his spot in NU as the number one FSA and possibly to go back to play in the UAAP. Colin Sakowe has said that he's not yet assured that he's going to NU. There's still a wait and see. He hasn't even played yet in Pinoyliga. It was Omar John who played in their first game. So I love it. I love to see someone like this. And actually, right now, after Mo Konate, I would actually say it's Omar John.
I was gonna
Not
say.
Precious Momo.
I was gonna
Not Precious
say,
Momo.
could he be one of the best FSAs this coming season? Kasi he's been that good on
Ako
both
right
ends
now,
of the floor.
Oh, yeah, Sammy. Right now, I would pick him over Precious Momo. Diba? If it was a choice between Precious and Omar John, I would pick Omar John.
I agree. I have to
Diba?
agree with that.
Again, we've criticized the man before. We've picked Mo Diasana over him last offseason, but he's come back strong, and we have to give him his props. NU has been winning a bunch of games in the offseason, and it's not a mystery that Omar John has been a big reason why they have looked so good. Sammy. He's been the one constant also. When Jake Figueroa's not playing, when si Umamoy doesn't have it, or si Tebol Garcia yung doesn't have it, he's been the one constant good player each and every game. And I think that speaks a lot.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. Ang gusto ko lang sana sabihin yung point na yun na I would argue na he could be the best FSA in season 88. Obviously Mo Konate is still there, but just how dominant he is on both sides of the floor now, like defensively and offensively, he could dominate all the other FSAs, I would say. Like we've talked about Divine Adili. Ateneo is so hyped about Divine Adili, pero he has struggled defensively, lalo na kapag bigger FSAs yung kalaban niya. So Omar John could struggle with Omar John. So I think kudos to Omar John for working on his game despite not making it to the team last season. Just kept on working on his game, developing, and playing with the chip on his shoulder. I do hope he makes it to the team, and he stays healthy. Kasi last season, the FSA, they got injured after game 1. So, hopefully, he stays healthy and continues yung projection niya. Moving, siguro before we end, maybe like other honorable mention takeaways. Gab, anything else that
I do
caught
have
your eye?
one, and it pertained to I think the Labor Day games of Pinoyliga. I think it was still the two UP teams. Uh, their front court, I think, is going to be the hardest thing to predict when heading the two season 88. I don't think Belmonte is locking up the starting power forward slot. I really don't think so. He started majority of season 87, but it was just a experiment thing. When it came to the big games, he was benched. So uh, I don't think he's locking that up. I do think si Eniguez has something to say. I like what I saw from Eniguez. I did mention that they could possibly go small and put Baila at the 4. I still think that's very open. Baila has been playing really well. I do think he will it'll be needing more minutes rather than just backing up Alarcon and Torres at the small forward or at the shooting guard spot. Um, a guy like Seven Gagate is looking like a different person.
Slim
Um,
down.
slim
Seven
down.
Gagate.
Oh, looks
More
quicker.
agile.
Oh, yung faster on his feet. Maybe he can finally make the transition to the 4. So that's unpredictable. I don't know how that will go. So Iniguez has looked good as well. So I don't know where they're really gonna go. Very unpredictable for me, power forward, and not only the power forward. Their center slot is also unpredictable. I don't see a sure thing that they're gonna go to Francis Noruka. Despite the Ben Mbala comparisons we had, no, he is not Ben Mbala. I don't think he's a sure thing. To one, you be their FSA, and two, to start for them and play big minutes. I do think Sigani Stevens still has a lot to say about this. His minutes got diminished last season because of QMB. I do think he will clamor for more minutes. He played really well it was just one game, but he played really well. Sean Alter is still there. Udodo is still there. I don't know where they're gonna go. The UP front court is in flux. I do think they'll try out different combinations. I don't think it's a sure thing that si Belmonte is gonna get it. I don't know. I don't know with this UP front court. All of those guys are pretty talented. You could see all of those guys getting possibly getting starters minutes. I don't know where they're gonna go. The perimeter is less of a question for UP. I think they already know where they're going. The rotation is set already. But the front court, that is really confusing. I don't know where Coach Gold is gonna go. Sam,
I think si Briones then also played like power forward minutes dun sa game nila against Adamson and scored in double digits at least.
Good call, Sam. Yeah, si Briones also.
So baka silver lining to that Francis Lopez leaving all the power forwards are like really trying to compete for that open roster spot or for those minutes that opened up suddenly because Francis Lopez is gone.
Francis Lopez, enter Kulas.
Enter Kulas. Tama.
Yeah, I think yun talaga, open tryouts ang UP right now with regards to that vacated power forward slot. I think nobody predicted that Lopez would leave from everything that has happened since the end of last season. But a welcome surprise, di ba? When we see guys get opportunity and them making the most out of the opportunity, I think yun yung isa pang maganda. Diba? It gives you an idea and it further maybe it explains why they recruited that guy. Diba? So let's see where it goes. Much like Gab, I'm interested to see who comes out on top. Kasi right now, anything can happen. Diba? Even yung centers, FSA slot na UP, I don't know. Diba? I have to say that people are saying that Noruka looks like Ben Mbala but he doesn't. So it's not that certain that he will be the FSA for next season, diba? So let's see. Let's wait and see. But I think this is the most uncertain UP has looked. Maybe for the past 2 or 3 off seasons, diba? Kasi coming into the season in previous years, we really had an idea basically of what their rotation would be. Meron lang siyempre wild cards, diba, that could enter last minute like UMB did last season. But generally speaking, we know which guys should and would get the minutes. Right now, it's looking more open than it was in previous seasons. But nevertheless, diba, they have such a talented lineup. Diba? They're probably the only team, or maybe LaSalle, you could say LaSalle, the only team that could field two different lineups in a league and still be competitive. Diba? Despite losing to Adamson, that was at the Adamson team, diba? And this is what their second team. Diba? So UP's that maybe that UP's only that team, much like LaSalle, who could do this. And I'm excited to see which player comes out on top. I think that's the storyline for UP. Or maybe they surprise us with another QMB type of recruitment. Diba? Maybe a one and done player, diba? Or a Phil-Am that comes out comes
JT
late.
That would
Tan.
suck though for the guys who are trying out now.
I guess that's the reality of the situation, diba? Remember last off-season, Danny Stevens and Sean Alter broke out, but at the last minute, QMB arrived. So let's see where it goes for UP.
Siguro an honorable mention for me, just to talk about UP then. I want to talk about something we haven't seen yet. Josh Coronel. I'm hoping
Oh, that's a good one.
hoping he gets back, because it's been like 2 years since he joined UP, and I really am hoping he gets back to full health and gets to play in the preseason. We get to watch him, but more importantly, he gets to play for UP in season 88. If he can make it, kasi it's obviously going to be a very deep lineup this coming season. Imagine if you're healthy and you don't make the cut. That you would have missed the team for 3 straight seasons. I was really hyped with this guy, Maui. You talked about him then before when he joined UP. I want to see him sa preseason kasi he has to show up, diba? Because this is, as Maui mentioned, this is an open tryout. So he has to sort of show up then sa team before the start of the season. Isipin mo na lang, nauna pa si Rainier Maga maglaro sa preseason ng UP kaysa si Josh Coronel. Rainier Maga, who is like what, 2 weeks old sa UP. So yun, I'm hoping he gets healthy and he gets back soon.
Did not take long for Rainier Maga to move on.
Hindi ba niya alam yung 3-month rule?
From a sad farewell to from the UE community, and a week later he plays for the UP Fighting Maroons.
Shout out to Pinoyliga, by the way, for letting him play.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good point. Shout out to him for letting him play. Siguro another honorable mention for me is something I mentioned in our last episode. LaSalle has not looked good. I don't know if that's offensive to our LaSalle fans. From our live chat in our Francis Lopez episode, it seemed a lot of UAAP fans agreed with me. Yeah, they have not looked really good. Yes, they've won games.
Maraming
but
LaSalle fans that agreed with you, not just UAAP fans. LaSalle fans.
yeah, listen, they've won their games. Well, except for that EAC semifinals in the Next Man Cup. But for majority of these games, they've played their full starting lineup. Maybe si Mike Phillips is absent for some of them, but they've played majority of their rotational guys. And sometimes they're sloppy. They miss defensive assignments. They've struggled from 3 in Asiabasket. I think their 3-point numbers are in the toilet. They rely a lot on Mike Phillips to bail them out. That's happened more than once already, not just in the Ateneo game. It hasn't looked good. It hasn't been as good as advertised when they signed when they got all of these top tier players from other schools like Jacob Cortez, Baclaan, Amos, Pablo. It hasn't been smooth sailing. is what I want to say. Again, the turnovers problem, shooting has been a problem. Jacob Cortez has not shot the ball well. Kian Baclan has not shot the ball well, except for that game against Ateneo in the clutch. Kian, why? But yun. Yeah, it looks like a lot of Mike Phillips right now. Backup center, like who is it? Bright Noanco is not playing a lot of the backup center. It's mostly si Pablo alternating with Amos. Is Henry Agonane healthy? We haven't heard any announcement from that. So that's one of my preseason takeaways. I do hope we see a better LaSalle. Again, they're the prospective contender along with UP. Maybe the top contender to take that crown away from UP. I do want to see them play better. And I think LaSallians want to see them play better. Of course they do. But yeah, it hasn't been as good as advertised. Let's just say it.
Maui, any takeaways?
Ako last takeaway ko is I want to see VJ Pre-Pre.
Oh,
Diba? I think-
Oh, that's a good
He plays a
one.
3-on-3.
Naglaro
Yeah,
siya
he
ng
plays.
3-on-3.
Which is a welcome thing for FEU. Actually, I was checking yung Instagram ni Coach Sean Chambers and I think nagla-like pa ng post si VJ Pre. So that's a good sign for FEU. But I would like to see him play 5x5, whether Pinoyliga or Philo Oil. I would like to see yung development niya. Diba? Kasi much like KQ was in previous off seasons, this is a guy that has brought something new to the table. Every time I've seen him.
He played one game sa Asiabasket, I think. Oh, I do think he played one game.
So yun, let's see. Let's see if we finally see him commit to where he's going. Finally. Kasi parang medyo tahimik na yung VJ Pre news the past few weeks, I would say. And I'm scared and excited to find out where it leads.
Binati mo, Maui. Tingnan mo, bukas magbe-breaking news tayo nito eh.
Oh, tuloy yung mag-live na naman tayo nito.
Magre-record tuloy tayo bukas. Oo, si Maui. But that's a good point. Okay, that's it. That's it for our early preseason takeaways. We'll definitely talk more about the preseason games as they go. If you're interested, stay tuned for more. Make sure to watch the Pinoyliga Cup and Asiabasket. We'll see you again next time. Comment down below your thoughts. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. Bye-bye.